Aara had always been the kind of woman who blended quietly into the background, someone whose presence was soft enough to be felt but rarely noticed. After years of struggling with heartbreak and disappointment, she finally found a stable job at Stellar Group, one of the city's most respected corporate firms. It was her chance to start over, to rebuild herself piece by piece, even though her heart still carried deep cracks from the past. On her first day, she sat at her new desk with trembling hands, hoping that the office noise would hide the fear she carried in her chest. People walked past her briskly, their clothes crisp, their perfume expensive, their confidence loud. But there was one person who didn't just walk past. He paused, and his eyes rested on her. That man was Zayaan Malik, the company's new operations director. At 35, he was known for being the silent type, intelligent, disciplined, and almost intimidating with his charm. His presence carried a calm authority that made the whole floor straighten up. Aara didn't dare look directly at him, but she felt his eyes on her, steady and curious. Over the next few days, Aara worked quietly, avoiding attention, focusing on doing everything perfectly. But she constantly felt watched, not in a frightening way, but in a way that made her skin warm. Zayaan often passed by her desk, sometimes stopping to give small instructions, sometimes simply observing how carefully she worked. She wasn't used to this kind of attention, especially not from a man like him. One afternoon, when the office was buzzing with noise and nobody had time to breathe, Aara dropped a file. Papers scattered everywhere. Before she could bend down to pick them up, someone knelt beside her. It was Zayaan. Their hands touched as they reached for the same sheet, and a soft kind of shock passed between them. She looked up, and he was already watching her. Something shifted in that moment, something neither of them expected. Over the next weeks, he began stopping at her desk more often, asking small things. How is the report coming? Do you need help with this data? Did you eat lunch today? Questions simple enough to be normal, but warm enough to be personal. Whenever she looked at him, she saw something in his eyes that scared and comforted her at the same time. But she also kept her distance, unsure of his intentions, unsure of her own heart that still carried old pain. One evening, when everyone else had left, Aara stayed to finish a deadline. She loved the silence of the empty office. It made her feel less overwhelmed. As she typed, she didn't notice someone approaching until she heard a soft voice. You shouldn't stay this late alone. She turned and saw Zayaan leaning against the glass wall, sleeves rolled up, looking more human than she had ever seen him. I just want to finish this, she whispered. He walked toward her desk. You're dedicated. Too dedicated sometimes. She smiled faintly. Work keeps my mind busy. There was a pause, the kind that reveals more than words. Busy from what? He asked quietly. Aara looked down at the keyboard. Life. Zayaan didn't ask more. He simply nodded, but his eyes softened in a way that told her he understood even the things she didn't say. When she finally packed her bag and walked toward the elevator, she found him waiting there. I'll walk you out, he said. She didn't argue. Outside, the sky was dark, the wind cold. When she shivered slightly, Zayaan removed his coat and gently placed it over her shoulders. She froze. His touch was careful, respectful, warm. You don't have to act strong all the time, he said softly. Those words hit something inside her that she'd been hiding for years. After that night, something changed between them, not loudly, not obviously, but quietly, like the beginning of a sunrise. They started working together more often. He trusted her with important tasks. She trusted him with small pieces of herself. Sometimes he would find her lost in thought and say, whatever it is, you'll get through it. Sometimes she would find him exhausted and bring him tea, saying, you need a break too. People in the office began to notice their closeness, but neither of them acknowledged it. One day, they had to attend a meeting outside the city. The long drive was filled with silence at first, the kind that isn't awkward but comfortable. As the road stretched ahead, Zayaan glanced at her. You're different from the rest of this place, he said. Different how? You work with your heart, he said. Most people work with pressure. You work with sincerity. She didn't know why, but her eyes stung at his words. After the meeting, they walked through a small street glowing with warm lights. Aara stopped for a moment, admiring them. It's beautiful, she whispered. Zayaan looked at her instead of the lights. Yes, it is. She felt heat rise in her cheeks. She looked away, but he took a small step closer. Aara, he said her name so gently it felt like a caress, don't hide from me. She didn't know what came over her, but she told him everything. Her past, her heartbreak, the betrayal that broke her confidence. Zayaan listened quietly, his expression filled with a rare tenderness. When she finished, he spoke in a faint voice, you deserved better. Whoever hurt you didn't deserve you. A tear fell before she could hide it. He reached forward, brushing it away with his thumb. I don't want you to carry pain you didn't cause. Something inside her cracked, and for the first time in years, she let someone hold her pain without judgment. They drove back in silence, but it was a different kind of silence, warm, connected, promising. Days passed, and their bond deepened in ways neither could deny. Aara found herself smiling more. Zayaan found himself waiting for her presence without realizing it. During meetings, his eyes often drifted toward her. During lunch breaks, she found excuses to walk near his office. One evening, after a long exhausting day, the office lights dimmed automatically as closing time approached. Aara stood near the window, staring at the city lights below. Zayaan walked up behind her. You look tired, he said. She nodded. Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting life alone. He stepped closer. You're not alone. She closed her eyes, afraid of how much those words affected her. Zayaan. Look at me, he whispered. She turned slowly. He reached for her hand, giving her enough time to pull away. She didn't. Their fingers intertwined softly. I'm scared, she admitted in a trembling voice. So am I, he said. But I'm more afraid of pretending I don't feel something for you. Her heart raced. She didn't trust love, but she trusted him. When he gently pulled her into his arms, she didn't resist. She rested her head against his chest, feeling his heartbeat, steady, warm, real. That moment became the beginning of something beautiful. Weeks passed. Their love grew in small moments, late-night conversations, shared coffee, quiet smiles that spoke louder than words. Zayaan became her comfort. Aara became his peace. One evening, while standing on the rooftop watching the sunset paint the sky, Zayaan turned to her. His voice was soft but certain. Aara, I love you. I've tried to hold it back, but I can't anymore. She froze, tears filling her eyes. I love you too, she whispered. He cupped her face gently. Let's build something real, something honest. She nodded, breath trembling. He leaned in, pressing the softest, warmest kiss to her forehead. This is just the beginning, he whispered. And under the fading orange sky, two hearts that had once been broken learned to beat again, slowly, softly, and beautifully, together. Hey everyone, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it and it would mean a lot to me. Thanks for watch.